Good morning, LvL faithful. It's the 18th edition of LvLore, and we've got some game reviews to hit today. Shout out to everyone that's participated this year. Y'all done an excellent job. There's obviously some winners and losers yet last night. We'll start out with the Dukes 76, Rockets 62. MVP candidate Trey Grubbs led the way with 31 and 14 with 5 3-pointers made. If you're going to say anybody's like the Michael Jordan of LvL, it would have to be Trey, and not too far behind him would be his own Scottie Pippen. Devin the Viter Spider, 1 assist away from a triple-double, 22, 11, 9, and 3 steals. I think everybody in the gym was rooting for him to get that last assist. There were some blown layups there for his triple-double. It would have been a sight to see, but hats off to the Spider and Trey this year and the rest of the Dukes. They've handled business. They'll be in the championship game. Levi Entz, sleeper pick this year. I told you guys about him after tryouts. Killed it last night, 8 and 3 with a steal. Jonathan Vanya hitting threes from all different angles, 9, 3, and 2. Joey Maggart had 4 and 5 and stats across the board. And I have to give a shout out to everyone's favorite big man, Big O. Owen Ayers, he hit his tough bucket last night and the crowd erupted and went insane for him. On the Rockets, they were short a few players, including Ethan and DK Smith, so that kind of held them back a little bit. They suited up with 5 guys originally, and then they had their 6th guy show up late. But they ended up with Mr. Nobody, Chris Wilson, playing as the ultimate double-faced ringer last night, and he played well for them in spurts. But Gravis leading the way. He's really turned it on at the end of the season. 24, 17, and 5 stocks. If you want to say defensive MVP candidate, that guy right there is put his name in the hat. Sammy Mitchell, 13, 6, and 6. I believe he's up there, possibly leaving the league now in assists. Jay Will, Jordan Williams, 7 and 8. And Joel Timeless-Boygan with an 8 and 7 game. Rockets always play tough, but, you know, you come to the game shorthanded against the almost undefeated Dukes. It's going to be a long night, and it's what it proved to be, 76-62. Move on to our next game that was pretty close early, but turned into a blowout probably by the beginning of the second half. Wolfpack 75, Bricklayers 50. Seth Corcoran led the way for the Wolfpack with 28. A block and a steal. He wanted me to mention that. He says that's a rarity for him to get a big block there. How about our player of the week, Jake Dobbins? 12, 21 rebounds and 6 assists. Giving him the nod this week. He will get his badge and call sign. I got to go to the lab, though. I got to figure out what we're going to name this guy. He earned his nickname, though. NY with a big game, 11 and 9. Brett Taylor, New York City, as you might know him, 11 points and 9 boards. Very close to a double-double for the big man. The second game of his night, Mr. Wilson, he got a 5 and 9er, 5 points, 9 boards. Mr. S coming back from injury, went with 7 and 7. Gavin hit a big 3. And then a all-team defense guy here in my vote, Picarius Butler, always playing with energy, went 9, 4, and 3. Had the new hairstyle last night, looked like a completely different player, hitting the long ball. He did really well for his team, but it was just too little too late for them. You know, when you got all the Wolfpack hitting and firing on all cylinders, they're tough. They're really tough. Bricklayers, highlight players here. Hats off to young Eli Ferg, taking up for his brother, Cole, who was not able to make the game last night. And that really hurt their chances to win because he's a huge part of the Bricklayers, their first overall pick. He went 22-5. Will the Muscle Fussle filled in well for Cole down low, as well as Moyo. Both of them held it down. Will Fussle had 7 points and 16 boards. He was rebounding like a madman. Morgan Summers had 11 boards. Weller led the league. Aaron, the ingredient Weller, led the league in this week with 3 blocks. So hats off to him. He's always given his best efforts. Marshall Bell, 12, 5, and 4. And Justin Sims had a 7-3 game as well. So those are the 2 games before what turned out to be, like we figured out, heavy hitter of the night. Seems like if it's not one of the 409ers games, it was the Anklebreakers games this year of heavy hitter game of the week. And it proved to be one with an incredible OT thriller. It was exciting to ref. Everybody was on pins and needles knowing the implications of this game. The 409ers, to make it to the championship game, had to win by, I believe, 15 points. The final score ended up being 409ers 64-62. We'll start out with a guy that on the Anklebreakers that has led that team, and those guys all swallow each other's stats because they play such a great team. So it's really hard to choose a leader of the Anklebreakers because these guys all play really well together, and they're not worried about the individual accolades. But you got to give some love to the guy, Braden Rayan. He has a smooth game, keeps his mouth shut, takes a lot of contact, and just plays through it. He had a 27-13 game last night. Huge game for him. Randy Verdine, another unsung hero of this squad, 11-8 last night, 2 stocks, and he's always having to match up on the best players, best big man of each team. I would also look for him to see all defensive awards this year. Elliot Hudson had a 6-4 game, and the rest of the Anklebreakers pack just threw in there, added some real help to the team, and they just came up 1 bucket short, unfortunately, and that is because another MVP candidate, Curtis the Piranha Watley, said it was his time to shine with a 33-10 rebound game with 2 steals. His cohort, Cade, had 6 points and 13 boards. Also, he had Gabe Williams, another guy that just plays through contact, is tough, and does all the little things for his team. Gabe Williams went 9, 4, 3, and 3 steals. An unsung hero of the 409ers, George Williamson, I would say a Vider legend in basketball. He had 5 and 6. Again, another guy that deserves accolades on the defensive sides. And a crowd favorite, Boots Bayless, had 11 and 4. So that turned out to be the heavy hitter game of the night. 64-62 409ers and OT thriller. Incredible slate of games, guys. We knew it was going to be a battle. I think we did have our biggest blowout in LvL history, though, with the shorthanded Bricklayers versus the Wolfpack. It was a 25-point loss for them. So that rounds up the regular season, guys. Y'all all put in the efforts, put in the work, attendance to the games as far as the personnel. You guys have really showed, that you signed up to play, and I appreciate everybody making as many games as you can. Life happens, so, we understand that you're going to miss some games sometimes, but for the most part, it's been great attendance for everybody. So what we have next week is going to be the top 2 teams. That's going to be the Dukes of Lumberton and the Anklebreakers playing in the championship. That'll be at 7:30. The third place game will be between the Wolfpack and the 409ers. That'll be at 6:30. And then the infamous relegation game, which came down to point differential because there were some teams tied at the bottom of the bracket there. And the big blowout for the Wolfpack saved them for playing in the relegation game, and it's going to be the Bricklayers and the Rockets playing at 5:30. I'll reiterate, whoever loses that game, their franchise will be no more in the LVL. It will be replaced. So that's kind of the summary there of the season. We purposely set up the season to where we had a final playoff game, championship game for finalizing the league for a reason, guys. It's not that I didn't want to do a tournament or play multiple games in a single night. That was just didn't work in other avenues of basketball. What we decided was this would be the greatest way for each game to be weighted the same up until the final game, right? So if you did miss a game or two during the regular season, it was going to mean the same as if you missed that game, and it wasn't going to change the outcome of the season for an individual team if a player missed in the playoffs. So hopefully everybody can make the final games Thursday. It's going to be crucial. Everybody show up, give it their best efforts. We got championship game on the line, we got third place game on the line, and we got the relegation game, which is going to keep it interesting for that last place game. So guys, let's see what you got left in the tank here. I know you guys are ailing, probably licking your wounds, probably got some injuries that you're making it through here, guys, and hats off to you if you're an Ironman and made it through all of the games so far and played each individual one. I know how taxing that is on our old bones, but hey man, this is what we live for. This is what you signed up for. And you guys have proven that this is the most elite amateur basketball league in Southeast Texas and possibly beyond. High-level basketball being played here, guys. Played a lot of basketball in my life, and this is some top-notch stuff, man. Appreciate everyone's attendance, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday, last practice of the season. Commish out.